Genshin Impact's most breedable boys. That's this tier list on the last day of June. Now, I am very biased. A tier goes in S tier. I really feel like the ponytail, it's a nice braid. That's a lot to grab onto. First off, he has tummy. Like, that's the entire reason I chose him. Also, he's better looking than Lumine. Side note, I think at the beginning of the game in that cutscene where Dvalin is causing a tornado outside of Mondstadt and you get sucked into the air with the sky being all cloudy, you can see during the little bit of walk animation, pretty nice ass. Therefore, S tier. I feel like I could see enough of a reason to either put him as an S tier character just in terms of him being a bottom, or an S tier in terms of him being a top. But you have options. Both of them are very, very good in my opinion. Now, with that being said, Kai is a C tier and Diluc is a C tier. I don't care about them. Razor, my boy Razor. Look, okay, I like Razor a lot. In fact, I leveled and mained him and Xingqiu. I leveled Xingqiu's normal attacks because I was like, he's cute. I want to build him. I want to main him. But we're discussing Razor right now. Razor's cute. I like the tummy. I like the greatsword. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. I understand he doesn't really appear in much in terms of events, and he's one of the few characters who got tied to a weekly boss, but still, I feel like I'm getting a great character here. But I feel like Razor would be higher positioned as a top than as a bottom, so I'm putting him in A tier, despite me liking him. Bennett, okay. Now, the issue with Bennett here is, first off, I want to clarify with these individuals, this is just off their overall performance. I feel like if we're discussing like, oh my God, have they been with a hilly churl or whatever, that's when things kind of get a little bit murky. And also in that same vein, you have to, really quantify whether or not the impact of that really matters to you. Because, like, let's be real here, there's hilly churls everywhere, and Razor is more than likely to engage with wolves. So ignoring that, Bennett, he has bad luck. Now, does his bad luck affect you? Does it affect him? How does it work and interact with your activities in the bedroom? That's a very important question. So in this instance, I'm strictly ignoring it because if I am taking his overall bad luck into consideration, Bennett, really cute character. However, overall looseness would be he'd be quite loose because his bad luck causes him to interact with a lot of aggressive individuals, whether that be treasure hoarders, whether that be abyssal enemies, whether that be hilly churls. This man has been used quite often. Ignoring that, A tier, excluding bad luck. Now look, and Chongyun, I feel like they're a pair. However, Chongyun's cuter than Xingqiu, so he's an S tier character. However, because of his heightened temperature sensitivity within this aspect, I really feel like he might be, since he obviously prefers colder foods. In this instance, it provides you with a wide range of activities because you might be able to engage in more physically intensive things during the winter because he's naturally high temperature. With that being said, you probably feel better than Xingqiu. Xingqiu's Heizou, is he extra wet is the question. Is he more pliable? Is there more lubrication? Is there more elasticity? Albedo. Now, I feel like we all need to admit Albedo, alchemical creation, yes. Therefore, wouldn't he be the perfect? Okay, well, he eats spiders. That's a personal thing. He's a researcher. He's also been with heroes. We're not considering that. But that's just as a thing to note. Everyone here has probably been with a except Razor is a maybe more than likely he's wolves. So like I feel like Albedo has like actively sought it out for research purposes. Ignoring that, extra tight S tier. Xiao's cute, but similar to the characters I'm not ranking. I don't view Xiao sexually. Within that context, though, I feel like he'd be pretty nice A tier. Design-wise, I love him. I love his design. I love the color palette. However, I don't feel like he's matching up to these three. Goro's S tier. You have, instead of Aether's tail and a braid, you have Goro's tail, and that's equally nice. Second off, expressive. The tail automatically makes it more expressive. It's like, first off, let's slide Tighnari up there too, because this kind of applies to both of them. The ears and the tail make them more expressive in general. The tail and the braids act as handlebars. You can grab onto it. It's like a leash. So you already have a lot going on. Now, if we're talking about like, oh, how good are they in terms of oral, that's an entirely different story. And at that point, I'm ranking all of the characters on that tier, not just the males. So we're just talking about the pure raw breedability of the boys in this game. With that being said, both of our characters with bestial traits are very cute, very nice. I approve 10 out of 10. Also, Tighnari is much more inclined to have experimented with some form of narcotics or mushrooms because, let's be honest, you all saw that trailer. He got high in the trailer. Let's be honest. This man can get down with it. Goro's likely been passed around by the soldiers though. Now Heizou, I don't like Heizou. To be honest, Heizou, everything is just a B tier to me. He's just okay. Like he's worse than everybody else. However, I feel like he'd be pretty good. Pretty good. Cyno, okay, Cyno has some really good art. However, he's Cyno, so you probably would never use him. However, you have to, okay. The question in this instance is, do you feel like Cyno would try to attempt to make bad puns in bed? Because that drops the performance. I can't ignore the personality because it's Cyno. I feel like it's a comfortable high B, low A. I'm putting him in B tier for now. As we go on, things will change. Now, Hat Guy. Scaramouche. I feel like similar to Albedo, this is okay. Let's be real here. If you are ranking Scaramouche, you'd also have to rank Raiden, the puppets, within that same category because they are both basically the same. He's just Mark 1, she is Mark 2. Now, within that category, I feel like you can't go wrong with it. He is S tier, simple and clean. Now, Venti, okay, potential-wise, Venti's up here. However, Venti is also the most used character, and he's kind of a basic pick, let's be honest here. He's a safe pick, don't get me wrong, but he's a basic pick. I feel like if this was Venti in the Archon outfit, I would approve much more heavily. However, Bard outfit Venti has some stiff competition. I will still put him next to Albedo, but I'll put him between the Robo God and the alchemical person. Now, Mika, I can't ignore the voice. With the voice included in EN currently, Mika is a B, maybe even C tier character. However, if I'm just talking about design-wise, I feel like he could be up there. Maybe next to Heizou. He doesn't have much going on for him. Now, Lyney and Fremy, you can't go wrong with those two. Lyney is obviously much more performative. I feel like he has a bit more experience. I feel like Lyney in general is going to give you a great time. I'd actually put Lyney above Aether. Fremy is the opposite, not necessarily within terms of how the experience is. More so, Fremy is a lot more shy. And as a result, I can see him, maybe if you're into the more performative aspects, somebody who's very confident and much more of a power bottom, I can see Lyney winning out. If you want that sort of shy, nervous individual who's less experienced, I could see Fremy winning out. These two here are top picks, however. With that being said, Tighnari, Albedo has its heights. I don't like Scara, he's going down. I don't like Heizou, he's going to B tier. Adjustments, everybody, adjustments. Coming. Now, he is on par with Chongyun. Pyro, so he's extra warm on the inside. He's very energetic and very flexible. He's a dancer, very flexible. He can plunge attack, just like Xiao. So power bottom energy right there. Great. Sethos. Look, Sethos has a better design than Cyno. Okay, here's the thing. White hair, just always nice. Always, well, okay, not in these cases because it's all the thing they want to do is white hair. Like, I don't need more Onbees. Please stop. Yishuan looks like Onbee. Ignoring that. This design here, white hair, great. I like it. However, Sethos is the eyes win out over Cyno's eyes. I like his design a lot. That being said, I'm putting him up here. I'm putting Mika down to B tier just because Mika's voice is so annoying. Now, Kinich. I'm gonna be honest. Kinich reminds me a lot of Discount Xiao. With that being said, he's not Xiao. He's B tier because he doesn't really have any standout traits. I'm not looking at him. I'm like, damn, that ass. It's just like, okay, and you swing around, my guy. That's like the best you got. Now, Dahlia is top tier. Dahlia is Hydro, which makes him better than Venti. I understand you can be like, oh my God, Venti kind of like, he can change forms. You know, he has access to a bunch of different appearances. No, look, I don't care about that. I'm not counting that because I'm counting that I have to put like Zhongli and Raiden and everybody else up here because they can all be potentially a boy. No, look, we're going with what they show. And Dahlia is cuter. Dahlia has like, this man's extra wet. Okay. Why isn't Xingqiu up there if that's the case? It's because Xingqiu isn't as cute. Xingqiu has the thighs. That's about it. That's his best trait right there. I don't care about that. Dahlia wins, hands down. With that being said, Kazuha, I hate this guy. I don't like this guy. He goes down to C tier. You know, he out of all the boys, he is my least favorite boy, which is saying a lot because I really don't like Scaramouche. However, Kazuha, I dislike. But if we're expanding the list and we're adding in characters who the females who are potentially packing, Kokomi would be an S tier character. Kachina might back an S tier character in that case. Sijuin got a big dick. Yansan and Nahida, both of them great characters right there. Boom, smash 10 out of 10 right there. Boom, boom, boom. Amazing, all of them. Colleague's been through a lot. That girl is packing. That girl is a power bottom though too. All of them are great. This is my tier list. I'll see you guys next time.